think we're good. Good morning, beloveds. So my trainer was out of town last week, and so we didn't work out on Sunday. He was in town this Sunday and apparently made up for it because, like, I ache in places that I don't usually ache. And I'm just like, so every now and again I move. So if you see a face, that's all it is. It's just muscles going, wait, we haven't done this in a while. So, yeah. It was interesting. Okay. So, we are doing Your Spiritual Power, but first let's do the housekeeping, and all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email is info@creativelife.org. That gets you one email a week. The hot links are hot. Tells you what's going on for the week and the month. I said hot links are hot. Click here now means it. And it is a blind CC, meaning nobody will see your email. Nobody will get your email from us. So hopefully you think it's worth doing. And then the last part is the social medias. We do not monetize the social medias. Why is that important? Because we don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we are asking you to do then is when you engage with the page, it bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff since we're not paying them to show us to more people. So we would appreciate it if you would do that. And it's a free and easy way you can support the center. So, like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you are on. Please do all the things. If you allow notifications along with that, it'll let you know when we go live or upload new videos. So there is that. And then, if you will, engage with the individual posts. So react to the post, comment on the post, share the posts. We would appreciate it. Like I said, free, easy way to support the center. Okay. Now, Your Spiritual Power is a collection of Ernest Holmes works. Some of his smaller works, some of his rarer works, stuff that may not be found anywhere else. We happen to be doing Pray and Prosper, which according to Goodreads, if you look up the description of this book, Pray and Prosper is considered an essay where Ernest kind of gives you his ideas about prayer, which honestly, Science of Mind wouldn't exist without prayer. Simply because what got Ernest kind of going, now he read a whole lot of stuff, but what he did was he noticed Jesus prayed in a very specific way. And he's like, well, let's teach people that technique because it works. You know, he road tested it. He said that technique really works. So let's teach people that and then let them take it back into their own faith traditions. Well, a lot of people did, but then there were enough people who didn't go home. They stayed, which is why Science of Mind became a thing. So if you ever wondered why Science of Mind, you know, Ernest didn't start out to found his own religion, just like Jesus didn't. And Jesus actually didn't found the religion. That would be, Peter. So, you know, here we are. But so that's what we are doing. So we're getting really close to being done with Pray and Prosper. It's been interesting. And then we'll move on to the next one and go from there. So if you're following along in the book, we are starting on page 177. Now these are kind of short, so I'm doing about 3 of them a day. 3 of them per video. So we are going to start, as I said, on 177. Not much speaking, but deep feeling. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, but they that doth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. Our Father, which art in heaven, is the divine presence incarnated in us. The will of this divine presence is peace, joy, goodness, truth, and beauty. That, if you want to, that list right there is Ernest. That's what Ernest says are the divine aspects. That's what, you know, if you want to list the qualities of God, those are his. He's got about 7 of them. We know that this is the will of God because it is the nature of God. It is not because of much speaking that we are heard, but rather because of a deep, earnest, prayerful acceptance. In this divine communion, we should not try to think out beforehand what words we are going to use. Wow. Okay. Interesting. We should not try to think out beforehand what words we are going to use. Instead of listening to what we are saying, we should say what we are listening to. That's one of the things that is one of the more intriguing things that Jesse has said is I don't want to speak the words that Jesus, I don't want to, listening to Jesus is great, but I want to listen to what Jesus was listening to. That's what he's talking about here. So that's really interesting. Okay. Instead of listening to what we are saying, we should listen to what we are listening to. There's a vast difference between these two mental attitudes. Our words should be the outcome of a deep inner conviction, which goes beyond words, but which at the same time gives birth to them. There might be few words used in a certain prayer or meditation, but the words would be very meaningful. When we address the divine presence within and around us, we should not do so with empty phrases, but with thoughts filled with the deepest sense of reality. When we use the words all power, there should be a reaction in our consciousness that all power is actually loosed through those words, or these words. Thoughts, words spoken in silence with this deep conviction are more powerful than volumes merely repeated. Which speaks to the question of when Ernest Holmes when he would treat for people, did he do it out loud? And the answer is no. No. When he was one-on-one with I'm going to use the word client, but when he was treating for people one-on-one, he did silent treatments. Emma Curtis Hopkins did silent treatments. Did he do out loud treatments? Absolutely. When he was on platform. When he was on platform speaking to, groups of people, he would do them out loud. But I'm going to guess that he didn't necessarily write, we write our talks, but I've never been one, and I got this from Jesse, when I write talks, I don't write my talks out. I write outlines. I tried the mental map thing. God bless anybody who can use the mental map thing. It is not my thing, but I write outlines. And then I go where the talk leads me. Every time you have watched me get up at the end of service and do a closing treatment, I get up there with an idea. Sometimes I don't even have an idea. And I say what comes out. I trust those words that are coming out of me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting into that feeling. And that's one of the things right there that makes me feel better, because I'm not particularly wordy when I do treatments. I tend to do pretty short treatments. Like my unification and my recognition and unification tend to be pretty short. Because I don't need to talk myself into it. Some days I need more words than others, but I don't need to talk myself into it. So that's that thing. It is about the words should support the feeling. And that's why he used the word empty phrases. Okay. All right. We are going to move on to anticipation and realization. I don't know why I was so dramatic about that, but all right. Anticipation and realization. How can we anticipate until we realize? How can we realize unless we recognize? And how can we recognize unless we believe? Spiritual communion anticipates the answer to its prayer, recognizes the presence of the answer, and rejoices in a complete acceptance that the request is granted. It sees the invisible take shape and form. Spiritual communion enters into joyful recognition of acceptance and anticipates that the divine abundance will provide a more lavish supply than we have ever conceived or dreamed of. Spiritual communion places its bowl of acceptance under the ever outpouring horn of plenty, and it places its bowl right side up rather than upside down. The Spirit can only give us what we take, and since the taking is an act of consciousness, we must be actively aware of the presence of our desire. We must know that the gift is made even before we see it. Consciousness must receive the gift. Yep. It's got to start here. It's got to start here. I appreciate that. And I just saw a really good line and now I can't find it, so I'm going to move on. But consciousness must receive the gift. You have got to consciously accept the gift from the invisible, before you see it in the visible, so that you can see it in the invisible. So anticipation. Yeah. Yep. The first line in this one was really good. Okay. We're going to do recognition, unity, and command. And then we are going to stop there, and pick up with contemplation of reality tomorrow. All right. Recognition, unity, and command. When Jesus stood before the tomb of Lazarus, he said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me." He recognized that the divine would hear. He foreknew and accepted that what he was going to do would be received and acted upon. He recognized a principle of creativity at work for him, in him, through him, and around him, and in the direction he indicated. That's kind of important. In the direction that he indicated. The next step in his prayer was, "And I knew that thou hearest me always." This was a recognition of complete unity and oneness. No doubts, no fears, no uncertainties, no lacks, limitations, or restrictions. No forlorn hope, no idle daydreaming, no wistful wishing. He said, "I knew." How brief, but how satisfying. How simple, but how absolute. There's no subtlety nor subterfuge. I can't say that word today. No denial. "I knew that thou hearest me always." Now, I think it's important. I like the "I knew," but I like that he also says always. Always. Because the truth is there's never a time God's not listening to you. You know, you don't have to worry about God not having enough attention to pay to you. If you are talking to God, God is listening to you. I think the problem is frequently we forget that we can just talk directly to God. Okay. This is neither a wail of despair nor a forlorn hope. It is free from both these illusions. It is complete unification. Now a strange thing takes place in this remarkable prayer, this communication with the infinite that raised the dead and caused Lazarus to come out of his tomb. Jesus turned and in a loud voice cried, "Lazarus, come forth." And he that was bound came forth. This is not a petition of supplication. It is not a sacrifice. It is a command. "Lazarus, come forth." Loose him and let him go. Jesus spoke as one having authority. He had complied with the law. He had recognized it. He had become unified with it. He had acknowledged the divine presence and infused its essence in his own soul. It breathed through his spirit, and now it flowed forth through his word as a command. "Lazarus, come forth." This is dominion. That's how he ends it. This is dominion. I get a little twitchy about the word dominion. But it breathed through his spirit, and now it flowed forth through his word as a command. That, my friends, is the goal. Is to become so aware of the presence in us, to become so unified with the presence, then when we speak our word, we speak with authority, we speak with command. It breathes through us. I cannot think of a more beautiful way to say it than that. It breathes through us. It flows through us. That we are not asking, but we are commanding, because we have the right to do that if we have done our work. If we have unified, if we recognize unified and are assured that we are within the nature of. That's the big piece right there. Because a lot of times we ask for things that are just not quite there. They're close. They're close, but not quite there, which is why we get half answers, because we're close. And so, and that was one of the things that Jesse was talking about yesterday. It's like, if we're not ready to accept the whole thing that we've asked for, then we're going to get a piece of it until we're ready to accept more. And so that's the same thing. When we are commanding, when we are asking for things, we are commanding things from the Spirit. If we're close, then we're going to get some of it. We just have to figure out how to get the rest of the alignment in, because we're close. And that is the point of regular spiritual practice. Every day, a master has failed more times than an apprentice has started. Regular spiritual practice. That will get us everywhere. That will get us to the point that it breathes through us. And that's one of the things. I said I grew up Catholic. And the Pope is infallible when he is on the throne. I'm going to use air quotes there. When he is speaking as a man, he's not always speaking the word of God. But when he is sitting on that throne, he is, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to make sure that when we are speaking the word, that we are sitting on that throne, that we have recognized and that we've done the work, Any thought can be creative. Every thought can be creative. Thank goodness not every thought is, because the world would be a messy place if it was. However, when we want to create, then I would suggest we take a book out of the Pope's, a page out of the book's Pope, and go sit on the throne, which means we have done all of the work up to, we have done the anticipation, we have done the recognition, we have done the unification, we have done the communion and the communication, and we are confident that the divine presence is breathing through us. And then the answer is always going to be yes. And if we have done our work, it will be a whole yes instead of a part of a yes. And if we get part of a yes, then we treat the treatment. We go back and treat the treatment. Where did we let doubt creep in? Where did we let fear creep in? Or maybe we just had our bowl of acceptance upside down and we just need to turn it over. So, all right, I'm going to move on into the process of my day, because that is a lot. That is a lot to think about. I'm really enjoying this prayer. So we will pick up tomorrow with the contemplation of reality. And now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of yourself day, a let's get this week started off right day, a take care of business day, a you got this day, a enjoy the 17-degree drop in the temperature, even though we're not going to get to keep it day. A be aware of the heat day, because it's going to get back up into the 90s here. A drink plenty of water day, a you got this, we got this day, a I'm really enthusiastic and am out of words day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a tell somebody you love them day, a do something for somebody else day. That is a really good way to get out of your own way thing. And do something just for you day. I mean, every day. Do something for somebody else and do something for you. You got this. All right. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. Simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time. at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right? Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. Anything at all. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow, and we will contemplate reality. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.